Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and our title today is Flooded Festival. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. It can be a bit of a wild scene, but the participants also pride themselves on functioning as a community to create a successful event. Okay, so as you can see by the highlighted part, we are going to talk about pride oneself. So we use pride oneself on, I should highlight that as well, to express that somebody considers something important and takes pride in it, to take pride in it. Alright, so to pride oneself. So you could say what, 두 개만면 이다. Or as an example sentence, a very common sentence would be pride oneself on one's success. So he prides himself of his success. So 자기의 성공을 자랑하다. Or another example, for example, pride oneself on one's strength. So someone who has a lot of strength or is strong mentally, physically, 자신의 힘을 자랑하다. There is a sort of like showing off, but it's not usually negative. Not usually negative. Okay, so to pride oneself. So let's have a look at the examples that the book has. This one. Our company prides itself on having the best service in the industry. So 우리 회사는 업계 최고의 서비스를 제공한다는 자부심이 있다. So out of all the other industries, our company has the best service in their point of view. So they are very happy, they pride themselves, they are very proud. Yeah, 자랑하다 is very similar to this meaning as well. Or, London taxis pride themselves on knowing every detail of the city's streets. Okay, so 런던의 택시 운전사들은 도시의 거리를 자세히 아는 것에 자부심을 느낍니다. So London taxi drivers are very proud and they pride themselves on knowing every detail of the city's streets. So whatever you ask them, they will know the answer. Okay, so that was to pride oneself. Let's look at 2번. On the final weekend of the festival, several months' worth of rain fell in just 24 hours. Okay, so as you can see, worth of is our next language focus. So you use worth of to describe a quantity that normally corresponds to a certain time span. Okay, so I guess we need to understand the word of worth. And I guess it's also the same word as value. 가치. Okay? So what you're worth, what your value is. So, example, when I go to that buffet, I sometimes eat 2 days worth of food in 1 hour. 그 뷔페에 가면 1시간에 이일치를 먹기도 한다. So though it's sort of an exaggeration, when I go to that buffet, I sometimes eat 2 days worth of food. So, example, if I go on a Saturday, I will eat Saturday and Sunday's amount of food in just 1 hour. But that's also just an over-exaggeration and more for comedy effect. Well, I guess some people can actually eat a lot as well. Rick is so efficient that he often gets 8 hours of work done before lunch. Okay, so Rick은 매우 효율적이어서 종종 점심 식사 전에 8시간 동안 일을 합니다. So usually most people work 8 hours a day. But Rick 너무 열심히 일하니까 점심 먹기 전에 he gets 8 hours of work done before lunch. So he gets a day's worth of work done before lunch. So he's a very good worker. Alright, now let's move on to the language focus quiz. 1번. Prides itself on having So remember, pride oneself. When we pride ourselves of something, we are considering that it is important and that we are very proud of it and we take pride. 그래서, let's say as an example, Korea prides itself on having, let's say, the best kimchi in the world. So 한국은 세계 최고의 김치를 가지고 있다고 자부한다. So there are no other countries in the world that have better kimchi than Korea. 2번. Prides themselves on being able to Okay, let's say the team prides itself on being able to bring in the most money for the company. So 그 팀은 회사를 위해 가장 많은 돈을 들여올 수 있다는 것에 자부심을 갖고 있다. So out of all the teams that work for that company, this team provides the most money and they're very proud of that. Okay, 3번. I once had to prepare a week's worth of in just one day. So a week's worth of value, 가치, example like we said before. When I go to a buffet, I sometimes eat 2 days worth of food in 1 hour. 그 buffet에 가면 1시간에 2일치를 먹기도 한다. So, let's say something simple. Work. I wanted to prepare a week's worth of work in just one day. 단 하루 만에 일주일치의 일을 준비해야 했던 적이 있었다. So that means I was very busy that day because I was getting the full weeks of worth of work done in that just one day. Okay, and 4번. It is possible to learn several years worth of in just a few months if you let's say, I don't know, experience. In just a few months if you just work really hard. So, like 정말 열심히 만 한다면 몇 달 안에 몇 년 동안의 경험을 배우는 것이 가능합니다. So if you study really, really hard, yes, or you work really, really hard, you can get all that experience in a short amount of time. Alright, now let's move on to the further discussion. 1번. What do you think caused the heavy rainfall at this year's Burning Man Festival? 올해 Burning Man Festival에 폭우가 쏟아진 원인은 무엇이라고 생각해요? Well, I'm not sure, but if I were to take a guess, it could be to climate change. As we know, the weather is changing drastically around the world, and as a result, in Korea, the autumns and the spring seasons are getting shorter. It's getting more hot during the summer seasons. It's getting, I think, less cold in the winter seasons. So there could be a change in the climate at the Burning Man Festival. Therefore, that could be the reason why there was heavy rainfall. But, Mother Nature is very unpredictable. So who knows? 2번. If you were going to stay at a festival in the desert for 9 days and use no money during that time, what preparations would you make? 사막에서 열리는 축제에 like 9 days 마무리면서 그 기간 동안 돈을 쓰지 않는다면 어떤 준비를 할 것이다? No money and a festival. If the festival provided free food, I guess I wouldn't have to worry about food. But if it didn't, obviously I'd pack a lot of ration food, like example canned food or instant food, etc., for around 9 days worth. A tent, 9 days worth of clothes. I guess extra batteries for my phone or like a rechargeable, one of those pocket batteries. There's not much you can do, really, is there? For 9 days is quite a long time. As long as you have food and water. Well, yes, obviously you'll have to pack water. That's the most important thing. 9 days worth of water, 9 days worth of food, 9 days worth of clothes. That's what I would prepare anyway. Okay, so that wraps up today's class, and I'll see you on the next class.
Avant-garde.
Avant-garde.
Inclusivity.
Inclusivity.
Have in store.
Have in store.
Shelter in place.
Shelter in place.
Bog down.
Bog down.
Live up to something.
Live up to something.